Peace, chosen ones. Today I am going to share something that has deeply stirred my spirit and that I urgently need to reveal to you. During my meditations, I have been studying the warnings that the apostles left recorded, and the more I dive into these revelations, the more I realize that they were preserved, especially for us, the chosen ones of these last days. Have you ever felt like you were different? Like you could see beyond what most can see? It's not a coincidence. The chosen ones have always had this sharp perception, this deeper understanding of spiritual matters. And if you are watching this video now, know that it was not by chance. You were directed here. The apostles, those who received the first revelations, already saw clearly the times we are living in. They left powerful warnings, coded messages that only the true chosen ones can fully understand. What I am going to reveal today will open your eyes to truths that have always been there, but that few can see. What is most impressive is how these warnings fit perfectly into our lives today. They are not just ancient words, they are keys of power and discernment for the chosen ones, who seek to remain steadfast in these times of spiritual darkness. Every word that the apostles left carries weight, a hidden meaning that is only now, in these last days, being revealed to the chosen ones. These are warnings that have crossed generations, preserved in time, waiting for the right moment, this moment, to be fully understood. Before I proceed with these revelations, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, now is the time. If something within you has awakened upon hearing these words, if you recognize yourself as a chosen one, press the subscribe button now and activate the notification bell. What comes next is fundamental for your journey as a chosen one, and you cannot miss any revelation that is to come. Chosen ones, today I am going to talk about something that many ignore, but that the apostles made a point of warning us about: time. It's not about clocks or calendars. It's about something much deeper. James, one of the apostles, compared our life to vapor. Have you noticed the steam that comes out of a kettle? It appears and disappears in the blink of an eye. That's exactly how time passes. Many people live as if they were eternal here on earth. They work, save money, build houses, make plans for 20, 30 years from now. But the chosen ones have a different understanding of time. We know that every minute is a unique opportunity that will not come back. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times you postponed something important? How many times did you say, "Tomorrow I will change. Tomorrow I will start. I will resolve this later"? The apostles saw this trap of later and warned us. Time waits for no one. While you postpone, life passes by. What's interesting is that the chosen ones have a special mission with the time they have received. We are not here by chance. Each of our moments has a greater purpose. While ordinary people waste their time on empty distractions, the chosen ones know they need to use every moment wisely. I will tell you something that happened to me last week. I was in a bank line, everyone complaining about the wait, fiddling with their phones, irritated. You know what I did? I used that time to meditate on the revelations I received. While everyone saw lost time, I saw an opportunity. The apostles taught us that time is like a treasure we receive. Imagine you won a chest of gold coins. Each coin is a day of your life. How are you going to spend those coins? Are you going to throw them away on worthless things or invest them in something eternal? The warning is clear. You cannot recover lost time. Every moment that passes is unique. The chosen ones need to be aware of this. When we understand the value of time, our priorities change completely. We can no longer live as ordinary people do, wasting hours on trivialities. The signs are there, increasingly clear. Time is speeding up. Prophecies are being fulfilled right in front of us. The chosen ones need to use this remaining time wisely. It is not the time to postpone. It is not the time to delay. It is time to act, to awaken, to use every moment we have to fulfill our purpose. Think about this. How many people do you know who left this life without accomplishing what they needed? How many left things for later, and later never came? The apostles warned us precisely about this. Time is a precious gift we receive, and as chosen ones, we have an even greater responsibility to use it wisely. Every minute is a chance to make a difference, to fulfill our mission, to prepare for what is to come. Now I will reveal one of the most serious warnings that the apostles left for the chosen ones. It is about something we carry within us, something so valuable that if we do not protect it, we can lose everything, our spiritual heart. Think of a fortress. It may have towering walls, iron gates, guards in every tower, but if the commander is corrupted from within, what good is all that protection? It is exactly the same with our heart. You may have all the knowledge in the world, you may seem strong on the outside, but if your heart is not guarded, you are vulnerable. The times we live in are dangerous for the chosen ones. Every day new traps arise trying to corrupt our hearts. There are songs that seem innocent, but carry destructive messages, images that get etched in the mind, words that enter like honey and then turn into poison. Have you noticed how easy it is for your heart to harden? It starts slowly. First, you let a small thing pass, then another, and before you know it, what used to bother you no longer makes a difference. This is how many chosen ones have lost their spiritual sensitivity. I will tell you something that happened to a chosen one I know. He was strong, had sharp discernment, and could perceive spiritual traps from afar. But he began to think he was too mature to worry about certain things. "This doesn't affect me anymore," he would say. Do you know what happened? In less than a year, he could no longer distinguish right from wrong. His heart had hardened so much that he lost sensitivity. The apostles saw this happening and warned us. They knew that in the last days, the enemy would not come with obvious attacks. No, he would be much more cunning. He would use subtle things disguised as normal, as harmless, to gradually contaminate our hearts. It is like a drop of water falling in the same spot repeatedly. One drop seems harmless, but if it falls constantly, it can even create a hole in the hardest stone. This is how the influences of the current world work on the hearts of the chosen ones who are not vigilant. But there is a secret that the apostles also revealed. The more you guard your heart, the stronger it becomes. It is like a muscle that is exercised. Every time you resist a negative influence, every time you choose to distance yourself from what can contaminate you, your heart becomes stronger, more sensitive to what is true. The chosen ones need to understand. You cannot play with the heart. You cannot think that we can expose ourselves to anything and come out unscathed. Every choice we make, everything we allow to enter through our eyes, ears, every environment we frequent, all of this shapes our heart. Your heart determines your spiritual destiny. It is not your beautiful words. It is not your external actions. It is the state of your heart that reveals who you really are. The apostles insisted on this warning because they knew that in the last days, only the chosen ones with a truly guarded heart would be able to remain steadfast. Look at the example of Daniel, one of the greatest chosen ones who ever existed. Even surrounded by a system that wanted to corrupt his heart, even under the threat of death, he kept his heart pure. He knew he could lose everything, except the integrity of his heart. And that is exactly what we need today. The courage to guard our hearts, even when everything around us tries to corrupt us. We have reached one of the most delicate warnings that the apostles left. It is a trap so subtle that many chosen ones fall into it without realizing. I am talking about spiritual pride, one of the most effective weapons used against the chosen ones in recent times. You know that feeling that you are more evolved than others? That thought that you see further, understand deeper, have more discernment? Be careful. It is exactly there that the danger lies. Pride starts as a small seed, but if it is not uprooted, it grows and destroys everything around it. I will share something I witnessed. A chosen one began to receive powerful revelations. At first, he shared everything with humility, recognizing that he was just a channel. But gradually, he began to think of himself as too special. He started to look down on others, as if only he had access to the truth. Do you know what happened? The revelation stopped. The discernment he had diminished until he became exactly what he criticized in others. The apostles warned us that in the last days, many chosen ones would fall because of pride. It would not be a sudden fall. It would be a slow, almost imperceptible process. It starts with small thoughts of superiority, small moments of vanity, until the heart becomes so full of itself that there is no longer any space for the truth. It is like a glass of clean water. If you start to drip ink, drop by drop, at first you can hardly notice the difference. But there comes a moment when all the water is contaminated. This is how pride works in the hearts of the chosen ones. It contaminates little by little until it completely transforms the person. There is an ancient story that illustrates this well. A master had two disciples. One of them was brilliant, learned everything quickly, but was proud. The other was slower, but had a humble heart. Years later, the brilliant disciple had lost himself in his own knowledge, while the humble one had become a true wise man. Why? Because the proud one was so full of himself that he could no longer learn anything new. The chosen ones need to understand. The more revelation we receive, the more humble we need to become. It is like a tree. The more fruit it bears, the more its branches bend to the ground. If you see a tree with branches pointing to the sky, you can be sure it has no fruit at all. The danger of pride is that it comes disguised as virtue. I just want to help others. I have more experience. I need to correct those who are wrong. All of this may be true, but if it comes from the wrong place, from pride, it becomes poison. The apostles taught us that true wisdom is full of meekness. Look at the example of Job. He was a righteous man, upright, full of wisdom. But when he went through trial, he did not defend himself. He did not try to prove that he was right. He maintained his humility even when everyone accused him. And do you know what happened? God honored him much more than before. The chosen ones of the last days face a unique challenge. The more knowledge they receive, the more temptation they have to become proud. It is as if each revelation, each new understanding, is a test. Will you use this to exalt yourself or to serve? Will you use it to show superiority or to help others with humility? There is an important detail that the apostles revealed. Pride always comes before the fall. It is not after, it is before. When a chosen one begins to think they are too strong to fall, it is a sign that the fall is near. That is why the warning is so serious. Let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. The good news is that there is an antidote to pride: gratitude. When you truly understand that everything you have, every revelation, every understanding, every gift, is a gift from God, there is no room for pride. It is impossible to be proud and grateful at the same time. The chosen ones who maintain a grateful heart are naturally protected from this trap. And remember, humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking less about yourself. True chosen ones are so busy fulfilling their purpose, so focused on their mission, that they do not have time to feed their own ego. They know they are just channels, instruments in the hands of the Creator. And the more they understand this, the more they are used for greater purposes. Let's talk now about a warning that can completely change your spiritual life. The apostles left a powerful alert about two things that seem different, but are totally connected: our words and our companions. Imagine a garden. You may have the best seeds, the best soil, but if the wind brings in weed seeds, soon your garden will be overrun. It is the same with our words and companions. They can build or destroy everything we plant spiritually. I will share something I have observed over the years. Many strong, chosen ones, who had deep revelations, began to associate with people who did not share the same spiritual vision. At first they said, "I am strong, this will not affect me." But gradually they began to speak like those people, to use the same expressions, to have the same attitudes. In a short time, that spiritual sensitivity they had was lost. Words are like spiritual seeds. Every time you say something, you are planting something in the spiritual world. The apostles understood this deeply. They knew that in the last days, words would have even more power. A word spoken at the wrong moment can destroy a lifetime of spiritual work. There is an ancient story about a man who spread gossip about another in the village. Later, regretting it, he asked the wise man how he could fix the mistake. The wise man asked him to take a feather pillow and tear it open at the top of a mountain on a windy day. When the man returned, the wise man said, "Now, go collect all the feathers." "Impossible," replied the man. "Exactly," said the wise man. "That is how your words are once they leave your mouth." The chosen ones need to understand. Your words create your spiritual reality. When you complain, grumble, criticize, you are creating a toxic spiritual environment around you. When you bless, build up, speak life, you are constructing an atmosphere of spiritual power. And here comes the issue of companionship. Have you noticed how we naturally start to speak like the people we associate with? It is a spiritual law. Our companions shape the way we think, speak, and act. The apostles did not tell us to isolate ourselves from the world, but they warned us about the importance of wisely choosing our close companions. It is like a coal ember. Alone, it soon cools down. But together with other embers, it maintains heat and even increases intensity. The chosen ones need to surround themselves with people who keep their spiritual fire burning, not with people who throw cold water on their faith. There is another important aspect. Your companions are not just physical people. Today, with technology, our companions include what we watch, what we listen to, what we read. Every video, every song, every message we consume is influencing us in some way. The apostles saw that in the last days, it would be even more difficult to maintain this vigilance. Negative influences would come disguised as entertainment, culture, or it's just a joke. But for the chosen ones, nothing is just anything. Everything has spiritual weight. Observe spiritually successful people. They are very selective with their words and their companions. It is not because they are antisocial or proud. It is because they understand the power of these choices. They know that every word spoken, every person they relate to intimately, is shaping their spiritual destiny. But there is a secret that few notice. When you start to take care of your words and choose your companions wisely, people with the same spiritual resonance begin to appear in your life. It is as if the spiritual universe responds to your choices. You attract what you are. The chosen ones of the last days have a double responsibility. They not only need to watch their own words and companions, but also to be a reference for others. Their words should bring light where there is darkness. Their companions should be an oasis in the spiritual desert that the world has become. It is not an easy task, but it is a fundamental part of our mission as chosen ones. The apostles of the Bible left us powerful and impactful warnings, many of which can instill fear, as they deal directly with the spiritual and eternal consequences of our decisions. These warnings draw our attention to the risks of falling into sin, ignoring the signs that God gives us, and distancing ourselves from His presence. They are not mere advice, but urgent messages that carry undeniable weight for all who wish to follow the path of truth. Below, we explore some of the most frightening and transformative warnings left by them. The final judgment, Hebrews 9:27. And as it is appointed for men to die once, but after this the judgment. This warning is terrifying because it states that everyone, without exception, will face God's judgment. Nothing will remain hidden, and every action, word, or thought will be evaluated. It is a reminder that our life here on earth has eternal implications. The risk of hardened hearts, Hebrews 3:15. Today, if you will hear His voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion. The apostles warn about the danger of resisting God's call. A hardened heart leads to spiritual blindness, insensitivity to repentance, and eventually, separation from God. This hardening can happen slowly and imperceptibly, making it even more dangerous. The increase of iniquity, Matthew 24:12. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. In the last days, wickedness and selfishness will multiply, affecting even the faithful. This warning is frightening because it describes a society where love and compassion give way to hatred and apathy. It is a call to remain vigilant and protect the heart. Persecution of the righteous, 2 Timothy 3:12. Indeed, all who desire to live godly in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. The apostles made it clear that followers of Christ would face opposition, suffering, and rejection. This warning is frightening because it reinforces that being faithful may mean facing isolation and sacrifice. The presence of false prophets, 2 Peter 2:1-2. But there were also false prophets among the people, even as there will be false teachers among you, who will secretly bring in destructive heresies, even denying the Lord who bought them. The apostles warn that in the last days there will be many deceptive leaders, leading people astray with false doctrines. This warning is frightening because it emphasizes the need for spiritual discernment to avoid being deceived. The moral decay of humanity, 2 Timothy 3:1-5. But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come. For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. This list of behaviors is a frightening reflection of the moral decay that will dominate the end times, leaving a world of chaos, disorder, and absence of God. The danger of self-confidence, 1 Corinthians 10:12. Therefore let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. This warning is frightening because it highlights the vulnerability of those who believe they are spiritually secure, but neglect vigilance and humility. Pride can be the downfall of many. The judgment of careless words, Matthew 12:36. But I say to you that for every idle word men may speak, they will give account of it in the day of judgment. This reminds us that even our words will be judged. The idea that every comment, murmur, or word spoken thoughtlessly will be examined is deeply unsettling. The return of Christ as a thief in the night, 1 Thessalonians 5:2-3. For you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. This warning emphasizes that the return of Christ will be unexpected. Many will be unprepared, distracted by the world, and will be caught by surprise. We have reached the most important moment of this revelation. Everything I have shared so far leads us to a single point: the special calling of the chosen in these last days. It is not by chance that you are receiving these warnings now. There is a divine purpose in every revealed word. Think of the great moments in history. Before every great change, there have always been people who recognized the signs. Noah built an ark when there was no sign of rain. Many laughed, mocked, but he stood firm. Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams and saved nations from famine. Daniel maintained his integrity even in a hostile culture. They all had something in common. They were chosen who understood their time. Now it is our turn. The signs are clearer than ever. While the world chases empty distractions, the chosen feel in their spirit that something extraordinary is about to happen. It is like that moment before dawn. The darkness seems more intense, but it is precisely because the light is near. I will share something that few understand. Being chosen is not a privilege to be proud of. It is a responsibility to fulfill. It is like being a lighthouse in the midst of a storm. The lighthouse does not shine for itself. It shines to guide others. The darker the night, the more important its light. The inhabitants of Pompeii had warnings. Mount Vesuvius had been showing signs for days before the eruption. But they were too busy with their routines, their businesses, their parties. They ignored the warnings until it was too late. The passengers of the Titanic also received alerts about icebergs, but they were so confident in the unsinkable technology that they disregarded the signs. We, the chosen, cannot make the same mistake. And remember, each day is an opportunity to reaffirm your choice. Every morning you decide whether to live as a chosen one or to blend in with the crowd that lives without purpose. The decision is yours, but the consequences affect many. Time is short, the signs are clear, and the call is urgent. What do you choose to do now? The warnings of the apostles are not just ancient words. They are beacons of light for the days we live in. As chosen ones, we receive not only knowledge, but a sacred responsibility. Each warning we study forms a vital part of our spiritual preparation for the end times. Time, our first warning, reminds us that every moment is precious and irretrievable. We cannot live like those who think tomorrow is guaranteed. The chosen understand that each day is an opportunity to fulfill their divine purpose. Our heart, the second warning, needs to be guarded with all diligence. In a world that tries to contaminate everything that is sacred, keeping the heart pure is not optional. It is a matter of spiritual survival. Like a fortress that protects its most valuable treasure, we must watch what we allow to enter our hearts. Pride, our third warning, is a subtle trap that has brought down many chosen ones. The more knowledge and revelation we receive, the more humble we need to become. True strength lies not in exalting ourselves, but in recognizing our total dependence on the divine. Our words and associations, the fourth warning, shape our spiritual reality more than we imagine. Every word spoken, every relationship cultivated, has the power to draw us closer to or further away from our purpose as chosen ones. We cannot be light if we are constantly immersed in darkness. The times we live in are extraordinary. Prophecies are being fulfilled before our eyes, and the chosen have a fundamental role in this moment of history. We have not been called to be spectators, but protagonists of a great divine work. Now I want to hear from you. How have these warnings impacted your life? Which one has touched your heart the most? Share in the comments your experience and how you have applied these teachings in your daily life. Your story may be exactly what someone needs to hear today. Let's create a community of chosen ones who strengthen each other, prepared for the times to come.